PP presidential candidates. And I can say, na me pese me damose on my radio. Me se me damose pa. Mo ye dwuma kese amaikoi. Ansa na ye ba abamu. Mo na mu gina ho mai. Etumi ka asema ezie ka ebia. Senya mo anke yentumi anu akire. Ye ba ye nso mukuta musa abesine. Na no nyina ntina unipa bom ho ban ewo kasa mo Eugene ahin kase Brennan some tukwa me free nkran baby a mekona say no me my interviews no say na baby a me so no say one to be free man no enti no yeah interview that's I'm saying this be interview there na say shase on my radio yes and you know say no na me person me can say me adwuma moyama MPP aban ayama MPP ko so many dodo nti me damase na no nyina nti na no maba mo minimum kasai nti eno na asema say me can san kra na ye ba be she bibia ase ya shase me damase pa
yeah.
Oh, Mrashebedwem. First message on the state of the nation, 2017. I was a man in a hurry. Maybe you don't feel say me keke. But I meant it because I mean say 4 years no in Chaba. Nothing so power will be here for 4 years. About me say Unyankop a bit to me aye adwuma. Besine baby do them first with masam. Abwa Emma Rebecca so can hobby. Can be on Hamadre. And no why you remember. We will be net on time to all more some school konye untumi hu babia fa ekoyi wo Ghana nti e ba no some obekaya nsema ye ka ye infrastructural development, unprecedented infrastructural development e o kasia ye ba ye babia na me sha se kan se afibia no me free ha ye Jubilee House mo ye kasa sese na makomenu makwa major problem. Obviously, finding a way to fulfill the fundamental manifesto promises was the other major problem. Now, 92 education promises, education promises are radical. Be an Akufo-Addo, I can say or the data Ghana for or the vote to catching mechanism. It hasn't thought it through properly yet. I feel say for the sake of confidence, now Akufo-Addo GDA womimu. Because me person Ghana for be say be a me ma base me de kasade na ababeje o man no na so nye bia adwuma no mintumi nya no. I was determined say biggest promise any free high school free senior high school policy no the very first year you know ebe I mean, say kind of cry. Akufo wa be mo amene woto ye bu man. Nyimu nyina na na enu ya adwen. Of course, edu sika sem so who's a finance minister be any why be any there so back say all people say ye fanye say. Akoro ni nya anka sika na be bo ni nyina no ne he ato baby. But the determination was there. I felt it was important for credibility. One thing which is of concern to me is the credibility of our political process. You see, continue, say, obi beba, or say, may ye say, or ba be mua, your becas or bayano, went to me and yet, or chine be man on Koso. As I say to me, Ginny Pedis, so sorry, one, or a mouth for him now can say, or chine be, mumma me quine. na mutina mechi moto mame na mekoko abamu a mekwa akoye say any say ni ehia se sane o ka no yebetumi aka se wakwa akoye entino the fulfilling the manifesto promises, especially the critical ones, right from the beginning, was a major task for me. It wasn't easy because Yametus Kebia and economy also had run down. And at the same time, you're taking these decisions about fulfilling our manifesto promises. You have also to start taking the decisions that will put the economy back on track. About how difficult is that? We went to ask the people of Ghana to give us the responsibility and the authority to act on their behalf. They have done so. So yes, the rest is us now to get out and do and make sure that the stronger economy, the stronger Ghana, which we think we're capable of bringing. So it's not surprising. The first year, the rate of growth, which we inherited, 3.4%, I believe it was 3.4%, the lowest in, 20, 30 years. We jacked it up in the first year to 8-point-something%. The next year it was 6.87%. And consistently, until the COVID, we had an average growth rate of about 7% GDP. Yeah. And you kept hearing this statement said this is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, one of the most performing economies in the world, from all kinds of different quarters, official institutions like the Bretton Woods Institute, as well as the commentary of informed observers in the country as well as outside. So that was an important development. And I think that what the EIM then is a foundation that was laid, was a foundation that was going to make it possible for us to have a really rapid and effective takeoff of the Ghanaian economy. We've been waiting this for a long time, and I believe that we've laid the foundations for that. This crisis that it came of the COVID, if our economy had not been in a strong position, we would have been in serious difficulties as a nation. But because of the strength of the economy that had been built over the 3 years prior to the COVID, we have been able. It's not been easy. It's been very difficult. The COVID, like for Ghana, like for everybody else, has been very destructive of many, many aspects of our economy. But overall, we have been able to contain it and still position the country for a rapid recovery. We're being told already by the Bank of Ghana that the recovery of the Ghanaian economy is proceeding quicker than had originally been anticipated. Okay. And all of these are because the fundamentals that were laid down were in a good shape. And see, yes, and so any, and just say, Ghana is a very interesting country. Ubiaba, or say, Yemana Kwai, no ba bemwa. He's going to come and create 1 million jobs. Even recruitment into the public sector was prohibited. There was a freeze on public sector employment in our country. Yeah. Up to today, we've not heard from you how many jobs in the 4.5, 5 years that you were in office you were able to create. But suddenly, you're saying you can create 1 million jobs. Hey. No crowds, and then as I'm here, it says Upper West alone, 250,000 will be created in Upper West alone. It's not just say, I can't Ghana, no. Yeah, nearby 750,000, 15 regions, no. 1 million jobs, no. 15 regions, but just 750,000. And Upper West, Sebi, one of the smaller parts of our country. Alone, what to say? Unipa kwe oka say Sebi. Business or you got a new more
what sound bites be also a drew election. As I say, OPBB, a come and Crawford Jewadi. Until to me, a chat rock kakra, what is our statement?
Sir, chat rock.
So central now they are firm and cracker on this.
I don't know what I mean.
Okay, oh, they're actually about
Na say no cry. The cry is such as a thing. Na ife. Say your babinya kendinia or no yenefe. Say or best said that Jan a month for him a trantraction. And I'm so opportunity.
Also, to me, the frafra.
Oh, the frafra.
Actually, now we can free senior high school. No, most start here and I check say, Bibi Ampuna or mine no ye ne be a sikamaya. Over to say na opposition for no can. Oh, na the scanning in our free senior high school. Intine in yes can ye way in yes can. Sansams not now. I saw more blame Bibi Ampuna.
But it wasn't true. It was because the management of the national economy was in much more competent hands. We were able to not only do free senior high school, but we were able to do many other things, culminating, for instance, in the major roads rehabilitation program, which everybody in Ghana and all sections, all parts of our country are seeing today. So it is not true that once you grow the cake, it gets bigger. You can cut it up more. It's very simple. If you're growing the economy at 3.4%, you're not going to have space even to pay teacher trainees allowances. You're not going to be able to pay nurses trainee allowances. But if you're growing the economy at 7%, at 8% on there, you're expanding the economy. It's going to give you the wherewithal to do additional things. That is why we have been able, from an economy that couldn't pay teacher trainee and nurses trainee allowances, we have been able to pay those, restore those allowances. We have been able at the same time to reduce utility tariffs, because that is also not to be forgotten. That the high tariffs that we had on electricity and water, all these things have been reduced in our time. To show you that so long as you have a competent management, a strong management of the public finances and of the economy, you have the space to be able to do many, many, many things. And that's what we have seen in these last 3.5 years.
What kind of Binima Geneso party to MPPD or more capitalist or mom? And yet, a lot of social intervention programs nowadays. But who say why social just and shishaya and my man for dona who to me at all being education infrastructure nowadays. Come be now fasuna with me a yes I did man poor moment tension to me a buy we crack and say or no or ye we no or not to me a more.
One year Casanos. With respect, I'm saying one in your Casanase. You say a pese ankra krejuma sheda in your holding soon come Ghana. Because I know a day in Koswani is sick as some bequechi am I. Nana no soon say it's Cafonqua and the Yababi Piawachi. Baku ye anyway more. Yeah. Young fan say. Idea by say I then me say young kofa yama free water yama electricity teacher yama one year sebi any be one secret some war form na asamaba betwe enye sika fon kwa asam enye hia fon kwa asam nyina asam na den na uba bitumi aye nhyehyeye a uba be yi binum afrim ana uba be ye nhyehyeye a ebe ma binum ho akyen won se ebi eno de we ne sa umfa ntiase ma ya sekyera mu nti no yempe kwan bi a ebe ma obi ahu se yes asam kese na aba betwe na sisi nyina bomoden ye de bako ye ehwe sa asama be na so ba ku ye no beba na no kire se one ya sebe o sika semenya no so plans are wo ye no e se wo de won ka ho no one is one who say yes ade ba opanyi o de anim who say ye so so ehia emo asonko nti no ba na enu nyina no na de baako ye na ye hia for national development no etumi aba. So it's a calculated, well thought out attitude towards national development. We have to work out in such a way, say, yes, we want the private sector to take the lead. We want the private sector in Ghana to be strong. But at the same time, we want to make sure that all other sectors of the national life of our society are also having the opportunity to come forward. And in this school, I say, I'm going to have a situation where it's a four man kwan beach me school. That's a scaffold no so Ghana. Sabi, here for the doors of Ghana. And you baby a school system here for wa unisikano untuminko school kwechia. No, you're creating a class system in Ghana. One day it'll explode in your face. Majority will be outside the system, and you just have a system of a few in privilege. I don't want that kind of a Ghana. Yembiemu no bia enyakwai. Because brains were hoi. They show hand. Unyakupo no dema. Nye nipa no dema. I just say, why koko ya mi amaye chuntumi. Enya wana odema ho. Unyami no dema ho ye. Ena odema mi sumi ye chuntu. Sa ena wi asene che. Enti no se pa se ye pese ye nya woni e betumi abo me ya. Me kanda me say ibia a young boy or no what dream a day say kese bebe Ghana ha no nyankra ha no te e be ye Kumasi no te be nya takra de na tamale bi o te kra bi achem no ho ababi dagbon achi ho no ho ababi a e kra bi o tim no nanso so no ono ena Nyankopon de adwen kese ahye no sa abofra no one said ankohwehwe no one said that amfa anye nhihyeya betumi ama no no so etumi epie na wonya adesua ne senche na betumi ama aboa no na enam no so etumi aboa ma no what yeah, because you have to cast the net wide. You have to cast the net wide so you can catch every potential talent that you have in your country in it to be able to move the country. That is the purpose of the educational policy. And then so I can say, for instance, recently it's been difficult for a lot of people with school going at the tertiary level. Ye biemu or senior high, no, then also he has a tertiary level, no so as ye biemu. The more we have of people going through the whole system right up, the better it is for the formation of our workforce, the better it is for our national development. Yeah. So now we've come up again with another idea. So far, we're saying that when we're senior high, when you're the requisite grades to go up to university, they be o papa no mame wo busuafo sikasamenya intino untumi hu kwan obabe no ye be ma loan ye be ma students loan nso no ye menye bibi wat tin what be kola kofa guarantors kola kofa say so long as you are registered or Ghana card or ID card Ghana card. Because Ghana card, no, the OWA, it means you can be identified and traced. Come with your Ghana card and you can get a loan for your university time. And we now your national service and then a period of grace, which we shall say, once again, no, that one is to make it possible. So Ubia, who has the talent to go forward, no. Ya masika ya barrier masanipa no. And I am very, very confident of one thing. This expansion of the educational system, opening the access. In 5 years, 10 years' time, the output, the productivity of the Ghanaian workforce is going to double, triple in front of our very eyes. Because you're going to now have people who are capable in so many different areas who are ready to work and contribute and build the nation. And the end result will be justified. Some of these things, this is the problem of reforms. When you're doing them, you can't. Some people have a limited vision, so they can't see the purpose of the reforms because they can't see the result. Yeah. But if you have the vision, you can see, say, oh yeah, yes, you're sowing the seeds today. The benefits will come, and then the benefits will be considerable, and it will justify the investment that has been made.
Now, I can education was and like senior high school. You say technical and vocational, and also starty be. Na saying my name is out here. Na NDC flag bearer. Your mama so about be TVET free.
But that program is already on it's already it's already happening. Right. The free senior high school, free TVET, it's already happening. So I don't understand. You keep saying things which are already being done as if somehow, and some of the things too has been in office before. It's like me. The next time, let's say after 2020, say, what about that? You share with someone, and then now we are here. Because I know a bit to me, who say, "I'm pa can say, oh, baby, way, and a bit to me, Agyapong. But you've come, your performance was poor. By every stretch of the imagination. You can make whatever excuses you like. It was poor. And it was because it was poor that you were booted out. If you're going to come back, and if you say, as you say, you respect Akrama Ghana for. That is what I'm sensing. There's somehow rather, because Matis Wakada say, Ghana for
short memory.
Short memory in Chenye Refiade. I would not like to think that never see one the breast or you fear. So if you see a refia, it would be a refia. Dum so in refia. Dum so can be our Ghana. In refia. Intino, so banana Babe Casa. To say so say about free primary healthcare. Yes. 18 are all having access to the National Health Insurance Scheme without either being card holders, card subscribers, so long as they establish their age. It's been done already. Yeah. Why would we want to believe somebody who promises a year before and you were not able to keep? And then you're coming back to say, obey. That's why I said at the beginning of the campaign, the first time in the history, certainly of the Fourth Republic, in fact, probably in the history of our country, two main leaders of the two main political parties, Akufo-Addo, they have all have now a record in government. Akufo-Addo pre-2016, other than as Minister for Justice, Attorney General, and Minister for Foreign Affairs, had no record. I had no record as a president. Today I do. The NDC presidential candidate also has a record as a president. So the quality of their records, how well people performed when given the highest opportunity, has to be a central feature of this election. We cannot run away from it because it is what will determine credibility. You ran our economy into the arms of the IMF. Then came to produce all these stringent conditions. You're making all these promises. We have no idea how they're going to be paid for. What is the economic rationale that will support all these promises? And you're expecting, because Ghanaians have short memories, that we take it like that and vote for you again. I'm hoping that people of Ghana will surprise him on the 7th of December to let him know that they don't have short memories, that they excessively, not so short as to forget 4 years ago. And on top of it, to have a certain sense of respect for the people. I find that lacking in the way in which the NDC candidate is talking to Ghanaians. A certain lack of respect for them in the way in which he's talking. And I don't think it's right.
Okay. And okay, yɛbɛsa aba nsɛm bi a of course ne campaign no mu play out, but woka COVID ho asɛm ne ahokyerɛ de ba Ghana so yi ɛyɛ sɛ wiase nso so aman mpanimfoɔ ne kuo ahoroɔ mutumi sese amamuo sɛdeɛ ɛkɔ sɛ kuya ne nkoyɛ nipa pii na m sɛ ɔmo ani agye anaasɛ ɔmo ani sɔ ɛyɛ ɔmo nwanwa sɛ Ghana yɛtumi COVID mu wodi yɛn kae na nneɛma a yɛayiye nyinaa na akɔyɛ sɛ asɛ asɔ amansan nyinaa ani ofi sɛ ɛdeɛ biribi soronko bɛɛ na woyɛ anaasɛ bi a yɛ level of engagement a one kuku ahoroɔ a wɔ Ghana ha na yɛ ne adwene no nyinaa ne inspiration ɛfiri he atumi ama
ɛbaeɛ no COVID a de baeɛ no na yɛdi ka mehu sɛ de abɛi ɛyɛ big test for Ghana and for myself. Ɛsɔhwɛ kɛseɛ. Ɛkwan a yɛbɛtumi ayɛ nhyehyɛeɛ a yɛbɛbɔ ɔman no ho ban ne ahwɛ bɛyɛ nso so abrɛaseɛ. Na sɛ ɛsa a me a meyɛ kandini no sɛ mebɛhinhim na manhyɛ da antena se antwe nneɛma no ho yie a ɛde asɛm na ɛbɛbɔ ɔman no. That's the first thing. Okay. To have a certain stability of outlook, to realize that it's a big test ahead of you. You can't afford to flip-flop. Because yes, I said already lost. That's the first thing. And then secondly, what I've been trying to do ever since I came into office is also to find the best people to help you think things through and devise policy.
Yeah.
Penifo who assembled, who are leading the COVID fight, fortunately, are grade 1, A-class Ghanaians. Nsiasare, Dr. Nsiasare, Nono Ababeye, already a Director General of the Ghana Health Service, had finished his term and had come into my office as Presidential Advisor on Health. So he was immediately available. The choir you were Nipa, high-ranking official at WHO. RBD number 2, Deputy Director General of WHO, World Organization. At the time, yes, a problem with Ebola. No, he was the main man at headquarters in Geneva who devised the global response to the Ebola. No, Abagana in retirement. We in national assignment. But he was here.
Okay.
Fortunately for me, I was able to have access to him and was able to persuade him that he should come right back and on Bekam. Yeah. And there are others. And then the key figures in the government, Agyapong himself, subsequently Okoboy, who became his deputy. You have Yawedu Jemfi, you had Bedusa Kodier, who was already at the public health emergency unit of the Ministry of Health. A group of Da Costa, a group of very capable, very motivated Ghanaians. The story that went from me to them is that I said my baby some yenina fadwen yehu akwan a ye faswa ebeboa emagana for ichime free adem. Even if the medicine is bitter, the analysis is bitter, tell me. Don't let us do this kind of there because let's always get the hard, brutal facts on the table. The no chino solution to the issue. And that is the way in which we've been handling the matter from the beginning. And I know measures, which for lots of other people, other countries, it took them a long time to down the closing of our borders, the insisting on the protocols, then even the period of the lockdown. And we were able to do it with some confidence. Say, the fight against the COVID. And in the end, that is what has happened.
Okay.
So that as we speak, touch wood, by the grace of the Almighty, it looks as if we're beginning to get a grip on the thing. Yeah. So I'm very grateful to the team, with which I'm working. I think they've been invaluable. And I'm also very grateful to the Almighty that He gave me the strength to be able to look this thing in the face and say, I can't afford to wobble, I can't afford to flip-flop, I cannot afford to be seen to be wavering and to be scared. I need to face this challenge. It's a challenge to my leadership, it's a challenge to my country, and it is important that I stand up and do the best I can for Ghana.
Okay.
So far, so good. It's working.
But Nayabeka campaign, who has some sense about Besabe, who say, Oko round na on somehow the to Johnny feedback a winning about but banking crisis in him say or buy and check and confront to in fact. Now, share the last State of the Nation address, former president, Onokra Kai, Jitu Muse, na dear no. But about that, I know Anya Hoshe. Obaya, no. So, feedback to say, what big gun Crawford Juma, no, I'm a Ghana for one more. Na, a big crowd on no one de Kobe be and say, a be a yahon, opus a be a Juma goo. What is our comment? Now,
it's true, every 1 year, and now wants no crisis, no buy. Opportunity was said, crisis, Yahoo BB. As far back as 2012 was when the first analysis of the banking crisis was made. And again in 2015, there are documents that show that at the highest level, information was available, say, the aircon, the way the banking system was working, the financial sector was working, and yet, you're not prepared to do anything about it, either from fear, from inability to devise a way to do it, political fear, say, you may lose the forthcoming election. And I took a different view. Reforms here, the whole system was going to come crashing down. And our situation would have been far worse. People talk about deposits, and job losses. I can say, and let me repeat it categorically, everybody who had deposits in the 7 affected banks, 9 affected banks, all their deposits have been made available to them without exception.
Okay.
Those that were taken over by Ghana Commercial Bank, those that became part of the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, CBG, all depositors who were affected by the intervention of the Bank of Ghana, the revocation of their licenses, the acquisition of the banks, all of them have 100% access to their deposits. Then you have the special deposit institutions, the SDIs, microfinance, savings and loans. As we speak, 98% claims of depositors of these institutions have also been preserved. The others are on the way, so that by the end of September, everybody, all of them, will also have been satisfied.
Okay.
Including those ones that collapsed in the Mahama era. Yeah, say DKM depositors. I'm sure that by Monday, all of them will also have been paid. They had already received 2 payments, but it was necessary to top up. As we're speaking now, the top up is going through, and all of them, I don't want to say some of them, I'm saying all of them will also have been fully satisfied.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not fund managers, no. Fund managers, there were about 21 fund managers who were not working already, who were dormant.
Yeah.
And now, Security and Exchange Commission revoked their license.
Okay.
And then there's another 32 who are working, who they revoked their
Yeah,
license.
license.
3 of them applied for a review of the decision to revoke, and their review application was successful.
Okay.
So they now are operating normally.
Okay.
So you have 29 whose licenses have been revoked.
Yeah.
Now, one to know, they don't go through the same legal process our Bank of Ghana yet. Bank of Ghana, when they see there's a problem in the bank, either insolvency, potential, or actual, can intervene directly, appoint a receiver to take control of the bank, and then start dealing with deposits. In the case of the fund and the Securities and Exchange Control, they have to go via the route of the official receiver to go and do the liquidator, to go and get liquidation orders from the courts that would then allow them to start the process of recovering assets and then distributing the assets. So 22 liquidation orders have been received by from the courts by the Securities and Exchange Commission before the courts went on vacation.
Okay.
So there's another, I believe, 7 that is outstanding, which immediately the courts come back are also. So those arrangements for those 2 are ongoing.
Okay.
And there's finance, once again, Bank of Ghana are working together with the Securities and Exchange Commission to make sure that all those who are also invested in these funds are also fully covered. Yeah. That will happen.
Okay.
Some people say that these people who took a chance and made these investments, why should the taxpayer come and bail them out? For me, the reason is very simple. Those who are supposed to be responsible for applying the rules, regulating these institutions so these things will not happen, did not do their work. As far as I'm concerned, it would be very unjust that depositors, whose no fault of theirs, ended up in this situation, should be punished and be visited with the sins of the regulators and the public authorities. I didn't think it was right, and that is why I felt that the correct thing to do, and Agyapong would come and protect them whilst taking the necessary measures to make sure that these things don't happen again. I think we have a much more robust, a much more resilient banking and financial sector now than we did 3 years ago. We have regulatory mechanisms in place which will make it difficult for these things to be repeated. And generally, the reform of the banking system has been a very positive development for the national economy. Unfortunately, some people did get scarred. I mean, there were roughly 10,000 people in the banking sector as employees. We were able to save the jobs of some 7,000. So there were 3,000 odd who did lose their jobs. Some discussions are going on as to how to find some kind of package for them. But the alternative was to let the system crash and all 10,000 to find themselves on the street, plus
depositors' funds.
Plus the depositors' funds. We saved the depositors' funds, and we saved the greater majority of the jobs of people in the banking system. These things happen, and with the kind of opposition that we have in Ghana, you know that far from wanting to throw light on the situation, they're going to make mischief out of the thing. You're going to start saying, and you have brought down Ghanaian companies and Ghanaian. You look into these Ghanaian companies, you find out how it is that they became banks. You find out the systems that were used to license them, and you find that a whole lot of very irregular processes were undertaken. And we're being told that when irregularity and misconduct is done by Ghanaians, somehow or other we should close our eyes to it. And we only get ourselves involved with sanctions when it is with foreigners. That's not the Ghana that I want to see develop.
Okay. UTA Oman 107.1 FM, UTA, your affiliate stations, Nina, now share on net 2 live. Yane Ghana Mampeni, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, no one see a flag bearer, a day ma MPP Amanyoko, and exchange como. Na yamra, Nancy, what started a koto? Of course, Afibia, Oko. Na Oka, one Nana nom ni omanfo shia, at least, or said omo receive on the ground, walk around that check. UTT for more. To say when in an come out to money, or man for no more interacting.
Maybe they didn't teach you their may and it's a me bunkuntamo. Okay. The beer me call me, person me man a juma yaye. A woman cassa one persuaso on region. Near share says Juma boy Michelle wants a me bar, may say no. One shall me this one, I'm a mean this.
Okay.
They are shaming crime. They say virtually all parts of Ghana Meko. The response from the chiefs, the response from ordinary people, they say, yes, this man has been truthful to us. There more kinds of say yeah kwayo, say yeah iskasamo, say yeah addition, say yeah pomdia, when who say ampa boy Michelle say me ba me any say no me diso. It's an also shaming crime baby because mommy who say adwuma me ye no nkofo was there so any when who say ampa no cry na me be catch and be there truncho. So that's one thing. And at the same time of course it gives you opportunity so be has never been na esisa afen so obebioma yakopoma kwana bebioma wo de beka ho aye and also no I've started engaging with them. Kwanya Babe yet said the transformation air cost to Ghana, how can we deepen it? Industrial transformation, agricultural transformation, the whole idea of Ghana becoming a major business hub in West Africa and in Africa, which is the drive of the second term of Akufo-Addo's government to create a dynamic economy here. Is going to be able to be a major source of job creation in digital services, promoting the digital economy, having a modern and diversified agricultural sector, having a strong industrial sector. These are the ways forward. And of course, also strengthening the school system, because that to me continues to be absolutely critical.
Okay.
What we need to do with the educational system. One of the things that the educational system, which has caused a lot of talk recently, of course, any public universities bill trying to rationalize how the public universities will operate. I think the basic thrust of the bill and the rationale for it, and it is incontestable. There are public universities in Ghana, each one of them having almost different charters and running differently. We've now rationalized it so that we have a more simplified and more lucid and coherent management and administration of the school. But there are one or two aspects of the bills that have generated controversy. And I'm very, very keen that those matters should be looked at again.
Okay.
Like, for instance, the composition of the councils, of the governing councils of the university. Some valid criticisms have been made about the initial proposals the government made. And I think it's only right that we pause and have a look at it again. And that is the way it should be. And that is the legislative process that is done by any responsible people. The government comes out with an initial position and draft, and then as a result of public comment and criticism, people are able to point to some important loopholes, or you respond to it.
Yeah.
So I want to do that very much with the public universities bill. Have a look again at the composition of the governing councils.
Okay. Now also what kind of education was we say COVID in so one challenge ne kwan be fa so na ya be school so kakra the tail end the means now there near take shape but it is a private school for so private school operators and so I say na omo ha in say we engage a lot
but they definitely have a problem because for the time being as schools and course lectures there's no income. Yeah, for the schools as well as for the teachers. Matthew Prempenum are looking very, very closely at the relief package by which I am schools no teacher for. And that program will also be announced to the country. But I'm very conscious that they play a very important role in the national economy and the national educational system, the private schools. Public schools, private schools, especially at the primary and junior secondary level. Private schools are very, very, very critical. So and we have been able to find some ways of assisting small businesses, medium-scale businesses, large businesses, with stimulus packages of one sort or the other. I think it is very appropriate that we should also look at what can be done to provide some kind of relief and package for the private schools. So that's very much
okay. Now I am call campaign and call Volta region. Deba kona okahwa samo ye say onye obi a oyenyi mu onye campaign na utia obi na ma ye nye campaign was there na ye necessary say because remind manforce
say kasa ibinum so pese de ba asemi I say your government your some kind of tribal agenda uti for can say I can't understand for the life of me how anybody can make some of those accusations. If you say here, some meko na makwako ma one society say for me, you know Ghana bako. Na so be because me pese Voltarians they always say this, you know, and no correct. Now, better say me meko no one who me tie me ankasa me no kasa directly to tell them that there's no such agenda. Mean tisa one and number ya can say we have say achieve for saka wafo.
I don't know what it.
Mate, cause I'm you know I don't know how to put it, but I am a ferry. So be our big Ghana man penny. Which mean I'm now semsa.
We need to cool be jina ho now.
Say a particular tribe, yes, Saka. Well, the end one is paying for a Ghana Halo. A bunny say, yeah, you said to me, sorry, and can be. I would have thought so by now. I bet civil society groups, I bet a soft one paying for kasa debi openye sana kasa do ne hia ewo ha na menka MPP for mpanyi for bi amia me koken bibisa efa say gonja for na bibisa there will be an uproar in this country. Yeah, but it's a pity. But it is important. It's important at all times that we have leadership in this country by their actions, by their deeds, as well as by their words, are interested in bringing the country together. And that is the purpose for these statements that I want to make in the water region.
Okay. Na se o santo se caso o bye mo bobusian bebre mo bobusian bebre but ye hu hwe hu de mo de what is awesome no so pan no so one district one factory bibi anyhow
all over the place. All over the place. Maybe I'm so who follow me campaign. So many places I make. That's one of the first things the chiefs say. Oh, and that's it. This has happened here. This has happened here. Roads are baha. The warehouse are baha. We've improved our sanitary situation. All of those. I don't know. These things don't happen in a vacuum. But the important thing is not the debt, it's how you use it. And what is take for instance, these interchanges. We're building 4 interchanges. Tema, Pukwase, Tamale, Obechamilamte, Kaneshi. 4. For something like 289 million United States dollars. All 4. Kwame Nkrumah interchange, built under the presidency of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. 269 million. Just one. That tells you about the attitude towards debt. A responsible attitude that is interested in value for money, and one which is about and how we can pad things. I think that the developments at Siwo Ghana these last 3.5 years are the greatest justification for monies that have been borrowed. We have slowed down the rate at which we're accumulating debt because of the kind of way we have structured our debt. These various bond issues that have come have done in such a way that we have much longer maturity dates than we had before, lower rates of interest than we had before. So the whole rate of debt accumulation itself has gone down, and we have much more acceptable debt GDP ratios than we had before. All of these are the sign of the good management of the economy that has made it possible. So those I'm fortified by one thing, and then I be a Akufo-Addo somehow or other will be a kind of found. Yes, I'm family. I believe strongly in the system. So be a walk on between a cardiope. That's the democracy that I have fought for all my life. So Ghana need be a one the far who deal or best or because Akufo-Addo utinya mefe. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. Because if you are one who says unsu team mefe. It's a draw. It's everybody should have the opportunity to open their mouth and say what they think. But the key is the validity of what you're saying, the accuracy of what you're saying. Are you, they're okay? They're okay. That is the more important thing, since you have the right to speak. Don't worry. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Because most of me were quite bit me, I would say, yes, I'm pa, because we'll be brave about and
okay. Now, what Okada, yeah, motorbikes, say, and no provide more jobs, as in NAPCO.
It's I see.
2012.
Ura Muhammad Bresso. Anna Ura Mills Bresso. It's the same.
The same.
It's the same. Muhammad. One person here the law against. But today he's changed his mind. He says he's going to legalize it. So bad. This is the thing.
Never provided more jobs than NAPCO.
How can that provide it? How can that provide more jobs than NAPCO and the planting for food and jobs? We have put out the figures of how many jobs we have created, over 2 million. We've put it out. It has not been contested. We have put it out that we've created over 2 million jobs in the formal public and private sectors. So how can you say that this source of will provide more jobs than other areas? It's just populism. And it's another sign of this inconsistency. While you are in power, you do one thing. When you are out of power, you say another thing. It's not good for our public discourse that political leaders are so free to change their mind, because it means that people can never know where they stand with you. I will do one-term premium for NHIS. I don't do it. The next time I come, I'll say I'll give you free primary health care. How does he expect us to take these commitments of his? All that you can say is, Akwe, it's better that we leave him alone. So that we can have a more serious dialogue in our country.
Nana, yenka emabunu ho asem ye youth all this time. Me say what transformation agenda no ye vision kase opese o magana fo nyina ate ase. Kwan be na ofi say mabunu no dachi betumi aboa na efa
me fi say shisha ye nyina no ye mabunu titru anyone here about being so. It's a school call to the digitization of the economy, the diversification of the economy, improving the manner in which we do our agriculture, the industrial transformation, all of these measures being put together. Then the specific youth in agriculture, youth in afforestation, all of these youth-directed projects are putting together the foundation for expanding access to employment for the youth of our country. They are the majority. So whatever you do, they have to be the first target in your vision of doing things.
Okay. And that's say enyumre wajemre na oni atimi atwetwe nkomo o man FM na 2 ne station ahoro nyina akaso na so bia bibi wo wanon opeso ka kire Ghana for ni titiri ye besa akwa abato no nanka mpese ebri wo mkra itimi twetwe nkomo do
ebia mebio mama ebia ebenya kwan bio
obama ya kan
ebia bepe kwan bio o na ni titiri me se Ghana for se abaye babetu mi mfendi agro enyina hu se abato ewo hu sunsunso. It has consequences. Kwan MPP aban Ghana for say ye my kwan to aso a sasaye na ye hwehwe ama oba oban no enyina tunu se enchekra ni nyina bebom ema Ghana ye a ye hwehwe no aba de beto ye no nye pomodin se ye beto niema menya fapem papa betumi apagya oman nkoso. If it's a formal for Nanano, it'll become consolidated. Na etumi ama yakwenim. No chenu susuno ni titru ɛfa me ankasa me ho no bɛsɛ Ghanafoɔ ɛnyɛ gyidie ɛwɔ me mu sɛ meyɛ nipa a meka sɛ meyɛ a meyɛ na afei nso no meyɛ nokorɛfoɔ.
Okay.
Ɛhia me paa sɛ Ghanafoɔ bɛnya saa gyidie ɛwɔ me mu na wɔne anya kwan adi m'akyi kwan a me so mepɛ sɛ mede ɔman no fa.
Okay.
ɛno na mesɛ na masɛ ɔkwama bio sɛ kɔ so boa me kɔ so boa me
Yɛbɛkɔ so aboa wo.
ɛne ɔman FM mede mo ase papaapa.
Yɛnsɛ da ase. Na ka woka fellow Ghanaian baako.
abɛyɛ asɛm fellow Ghanaians. Thank you very much. Miss Papa. Thank you. Thank you.
Atiefoɔ ɛne aha ɛna brɛ mɛma yɛn ho kwan ma ɛnɛ nkɔmmɔ soronko a yɛne president ɛne MPP Frank Atuni na Danko Akufo-Addo flag bearer abɛtwetwen ɛwɔ Jubilee House no yɛde bɛwie affiliate stations dodoɔ na mutimi tie yɛ ɛwɔ so ɛne Oman FM Facebook ɛne 2TV GH nso so mo abutumi hwɛ yɛ ɛne mo amutie wɔ wiase afa na nyinaa no ɛda mo ase sɛdeɛ president ahyɛbɔ no ɛnkyɛ ɛbɛsa aba mo nkyɛ biem na yɛba abɛto ankomo so sansa campaign mu ana yɛwɔ ana yɛn nso deɛ ɛbɛka ne sɛ yɛde ade pa na yɛdi akyiri na sɛdeɛ wɔka wɔda yɛ ase no yɛnim sɛ ade papa na wɔyɛ ade papa nso na wɔne wamanyokuo no mo ani di akyiri nti na yɛn nso so yɛboa wɔ saa kwan so nyame ɛmoa yɛ na ɔnka yɛ nyinaa ho ma ɔko a wɔko no ade papa bi ntimi mfiri mu mmra yɛda ase paa.